Mamdani is winning because of mass immigration, because you can see that as the foreign-born population of New York City, which has these highly concentrated in this area, they are the ones that are the leading edge for his candidacy above all other demographic groups. Now, I don't mean to say that there aren't like the young urban creatives that are for him. There's a lot of Zoomers, there's a lot of millennial support, et cetera, but it's not really the yuppies, right? They were going for Cuomo, and then you see, quote unquote, old New York was for Curtis Lewa, but it doesn't matter anymore because you have these massive foreign-born populations. Why is it that so many conservatives feel the need to say, oh, this is because of Islam? I mean, it doesn't really strike me as particularly jihadi. Or they'll say, oh, you know, it's socialism. And then when you hear him, he's really just using a lot of populist rhetoric. Why is it so hard for people to simply admit that America, we've got a little bit of an addiction, and it's an addiction to mass immigration?
Well, it's because I think a lot of people bought this propositional nation idea. The nation is just a set of beliefs, and anyone can come here and hold those beliefs. But ultimately, the problem with the propositional nation is built into the proposition of the United States is your ability to speak freely, is your First Amendment right to share your beliefs. And if your beliefs don't coincide with American founding values, well, if you're actually an American, we don't just like load you in a catapult and throw you out. So the idea that there's some kind of proposition that you have to constantly assent to simply doesn't work. Once people are here, yes, they might have raised their hand and they might have said that they ultimately pledge loyalty to the United States, but it becomes very clear that they're abandoning that immediately, that they never really shared those values, but we have no mechanism for removing those people. And so we end up as a situation where people are arguing over ideology. Well, oh no, he's a socialist. That's what we're really worried about. How did all the people in New York suddenly become socialists? Or, oh, he's a Muslim. How did all the people in New York suddenly become pro-Muslim? Well, the real problem ultimately is not that he won over the majority of New Yorkers with his amazing rhetoric and the incredible logic and power of communist economics. The reason he's winning is because more people want people who look like them in power. He reflects the demographics of the incoming New York, which is radically different. And these people don't care if the economics fail. They're not really, very interested in the mechanics of the ideology and whether or not some abstract economist decided that this is the best way to manage our finances. What they care about is that they can just loot the state that they got here. They don't really care about the country. They don't care about whether or not it works. They care about whether or not they're getting their benefits and people like them are in power. But Americans have been so programmed against this thought that we can't grasp the fact that ultimately it is immigration and not the marketplace of ideas that is winning this election for Mamdani.